Chapter 33 of The Plum and the Golden Vase. Chongzhen version of the embroidered portrait. Chen Jingji lost his key and was punished by singing, while Han Daoguo let his women compete. The word sees. His clothes are dyed yellow. He likes to stop and take photos, and he encourages people to drink wine and hold cups. The cicada's shadow is moving, whispering about the fragrance of her mouth. The eaves are dripping with dew, the bamboo is cool in the breeze, and the opera is filled with delicious drinks. As the night progresses, the moonlight is illuminated by the lantern, and I take a closer look. It is said that when Simon King Yamen came to the house, he asked Yunyang when he entered, "How are you, brother? Send the boy to ask the imperial doctor." Yunyang said, "I have called Mrs. Liu here after taking his medicine. The child now does not have foreign milk. I've slept soundly for half a day, and I feel better." Simon King said, "I believe that old whore is doing acupuncture and moxibustion, so she should ask a pediatrician to see her. Now that she's better, let's go. If she's not good, take her to the Yamen." Fighting with an old whore, Yunyang said, "You are using your tongue to curse people in vain. Now that your child has taken his medicine and is cured, you are still swearing with ease." After saying that, the maid put the rice on the table. "Come." Simon King had just eaten when he saw Diana coming to report. "Ying's second father is here." Simon King told the boy, "Bring the tea out and ask Ying's second father to sit in the tent." Xiang Yunyang said, "Put aside the vegetables that I had just eaten. Teach the boy to take the food out. Teach the brother-in-law to eat with him, and I will come as soon as you tell him." Yunyang then asked, "Where did you send him to go yesterday morning? Then we will come." Simon King then told him, "He Guaner, a guest from Huzhou recognized by my second brother, had 500 taels of silk thread piled up in the shop outside his door. He was anxious to get up and go home. He came to me and told me that he wanted to break some hair. I only agreed. He has 450 taels of silver. Yesterday, I asked him to come with Bao to get 2 large ingots of silver as sample silver. They have already arrived. I have made an appointment to exchange the silver today. I want to come. The house on Lion Street is vacant. Open the 2 front rooms. It would be better to open a woolen shop and hire a waiter. Kuang Liabao has already accepted the official money from Prince Yun's mansion. So he and the waiter were there, looked at the house, and made a business." Yunyang said, "It's a rare thing." "Looking for a man," Simon King said. Second brother Ying said that he has an acquaintance. His surname is Han. He used to be in the woolen business. Now he has no capital and is idle at home. He is good at speaking and writing, and his behavior is correct. He has recommended him again and again. We will bring him here another day. See me and write a contract." After saying this, Simon King cashed in 450 taels of silver in the room and asked the bailiff to bring it out. Chen Jingji had already finished eating with Earl Ying in the rolling shed, and he was getting angry while waiting. When he saw the silver coming out, he was so happy that he sang with Simon King and said, "Brother, I bothered you yesterday. I got home late and can't pick it up today." Simon King said, "I exchanged this silver for 450 taels, please teach me." Bao took the goods and packed them together. "Today is a good day, so I hired a vehicle to move the goods and locked them in the house over there." The count said, "My brother's opinion is reasonable. I'm afraid that the barbarian will stop to gain wisdom and push the goods forward." That's the end of the account. So he came to Baoqi Tuku, took some money, and went to the shop outside the door to complete the transaction. Unexpectedly, the Earl secretly killed He Guaner and only received 420 taels of silver and 30 taels of backwork. In front of Liabao, he only took out 9 taels of silver, which was divided equally between them. I hired a truck driver and pushed the goods into the city that day. They piled them in an empty house on Lion Street, locked the door, and went back and forth to Ximen to celebrate. Simon King taught Count Ying and chose an auspicious day to bring the Korean men to see him. He is short in stature, in his 30s, talkative, and has a cheerful face. Simon King signed a contract with him today. Tong Lai saved his capital and hired people to dye silk, and opened a shop on Lion Street to sell various kinds of velvet silk. It's no problem selling dozens of taels of silver a day. Time flies, the sun and the moon fly by, and before you know it, It's the 15th day of August, the birthday of Yu Niang, and she invites the guests to serve wine. Wu De Jinzi, Grandma Pan, Miss Young and their two sisters-in-law were left to stay for 2 days. They sang Buddhist songs in the evening and often sat until the second or third watch before resting. On that day, Simon King went to Li Ping'er's room to see the official brother because it was inconvenient, because Wu Daguzi was in his room. He wanted to sleep in Li Ping'er's room. Li Ping'er said, "The child is getting better now. I'm impatient, so I'll go to his fifth mother's room to sleep for the night." Simon King smiled and said, "I won't mess with you." Then he walked past Jin Lian. When Jin Lian heard the man come into his room, he felt as if he had found a gold treasure, so he quickly sent Grandma Pan to stay over at Li Ping'er's place. In his private room, he lit a high silver lamp, stretched out his brocade quilt, incense-scented his wife, and slept with Simon King at night. The love beside the pillow is difficult to describe in any way, except to pet the man's heart and prevent him from going to other people's rooms. Exactly, drumming hyenas and wandering bees, tender pistils with half-even spring ripples, fragrant meal butterflies, sleeping in the flower house late at night in the wind. When Li Ping'er saw Grandma Pan coming over, she quickly asked her to sit on the kang, taught the spring festival to arrange wine, food and fruit cakes, talk late in the evening, and sit up until midnight before going to bed. The next day, I gave Grandma Pan a green-white silk jacket, 2 pairs of satin shoes, and 200 coins. The mother-in-law came over here with a happy smile on her face, showed it to Jin Lian, and said, "This belongs to my sister over there and me." When Jin Lian saw it, she said to her mother, "You are so small-eyed and thin-skinned. What's good? Take his," Grandma Pan said. "Good sister, I'm so pitiful to see you, but you say this. Are you willing to wear the same thing as me?" Jin Lian said, "I can't compare to his wealth, sister. I don't have anything to wear yet. So, what can I give you? You just ate what they had for nothing. When you get back, you can sort out a few plates, sift through a jug of wine, take it and return it to him. You'll need it tomorrow. I can't listen to the people shitty and who are teaching you what to say." He ordered Chun Mai to order 8 plates of vegetables, 4 boxes of fruits, and a tin bottle of wine. When he found out that Simon King was not at home, he taught Qiu to take the square box to Li Ping'er's room and said, "Mom and Grandma, come here and have a glass of wine with Liu Niang if you have nothing to do." Li Ping'er said, "Teach your mother to worry about it again." After a while, Jin Lian and Grandma Pan came. The 3 of them sat down and poured the wine. Chun Mai stands and pours wine. While the mother was talking, Qiu came to call Chun Mai and said, "Brother-in-law is looking for clothes over there. I will teach you how to open the door of the building outside." Jin Lian said, "Tell your brother-in-law to find clothes and come here to drink oozy wine. Go." After a while, Jingji found some clothes and walked out. Chun Mai came in and said, "He's not coming." Jin Lian said, "At least I got him to come." Then she used Shu Chen to invite Jingji. Grandma Pan was sitting on the kang, with fruit boxes placed on the small table, and Jin Lian and Li Ping'er were accompanying her to eat wine. "I sang it quickly," Jin Lian said. "I kindly taught you to come and have a drink. Why can't you Zhangzi come? Are you insulting fate?" She sighed and told Chun Mai, "Bring a wide cup and sift it with your brother-in-law." Jingji put Sun's clothes on the kang and sat down. Chun Mai made some preparations, took a teapot, poured it on the edge, and handed it to him. Jingji panicked and said, "Wu Niang gave it to me. I'd rather eat for 2 hours." Many people were waiting in the shop outside to ask for clothes. Jin Lian said, "Teach him to wait. I will teach you to eat this big bao. The little bao is very naughty and impatient." Grandma Pan said, "I just teach my brother to eat for an hour. I'm afraid he will be busy with business." Jin Lian said, "You believe him? What's the matter? Eat well and drink a little, and eat from the golden lacquer bucket to the second hoop." Then Jingji brought the wine with a smile and just took a few sips. Grandma Pan called Chun Mai, "Sister, take the chopsticks with my brother. Teach him to eat less and drink less." Chun Mai didn't take chopsticks and beat him deliberately. She took 2 walnuts from the box and handed them to him. Then Jingji took them and said, "You dare to laugh at me. so I can't help but laugh at him. So he put it on his teeth and just knocked it, bit it into pieces and drank some wine. Grandma Pan said, I am still a young man, and I have good teeth. As I grow older, I can't eat hard things. Jingji said, son, there are two things in the world, pebbles and ox horns, which I can't eat. Jinlian saw that he had finished the wine, and asked Chun Mai to pour another hour, and said, the first hour is mine. Aren't your grandma and Liu Nang human beings? I won't teach you to eat too much. I'll only eat 3 cups. I'll spare you. Jingji said, Wu Niang is so sorry to see her son coming. She can't eat it. At this moment, I am afraid that I will blush and offend my father. Jinlian said, are you also afraid of your father? I said you are not afraid of him. Where did your father go to have a drink today? Jingji said, I went to Wu Yicheng's house for a drink later in the afternoon. And now I'm looking after things at the house of Kiao, a wealthy family across the street. Jinlian asked, Kiao's family moved yesterday. Why don't we give him tea today? Jingji said, I sent tea this morning. Li Pinger asked, where did his family move to live? Jingji said, he spent 1,200 silver on East Street and bought a small house, which is similar to our house. It has 7 rooms on the front and 5 floors on the bottom. While speaking, Jingji pinched his nose and waited for another minute. Taking advantage of Jin Lian's misunderstanding, he took the clothes and ran out. Yingxun said, Mom, look, my brother-in-law forgot the key. The Golden Lotus took it and sat under him, and said to Li Pinger, when he comes to look for it, don't talk about it. Wait until I can do anything for him before talking to him. Grandma Pan said, it's just my sister and him. We don't care about him. Jingji walked to the shop and felt inside his sleeves, but couldn't find the key. He went all the way to Li Pinger's room to look for it. Jin Lian said, who knows what key you have? What do you care about? Put it there and you don't know? Chun Mai said, I'm afraid you locked it upstairs. Jingji said, I will remember to bring it out. Jin Lian said, the child has a big butt. How dare you worry about it? I don't know who outside the family pulled it off. You are so unconscious and your heart is not in your heart. Jingji said, someone came to redeem the clothes. But what's going on? If dad doesn't come over, I'll have to ask a little stove maker to open the door and find out if it's there. Li Pinger couldn't help but just laugh. Jingji said, Liu Nang has lost it, please give it to me. Jinlian said, I haven't seen this sisterly either. I don't know why I'm laughing with her. It's like I take something from him. Jingji was so anxious that he just returned the favor. After a while, he saw a key belt coming out from under Jinlian, and said, this is not a key, when he was about to take it with his hand. Jinlian took it away from his sleeve and refused to let him know. How did you lose your key? In my hands, the young man was so anxious that he just wanted to kill the chicken. Jinlian said, I only said that you can sing good songs, and you sing them with the boy in the shop outside. Why don't you sing for me to listen to? Today, while your grandma and Liu Nang are here, you only want to sing the good ones, sing it, and I will give you the key. Otherwise, you can jump up to the White Tower. And I don't have it, Jingji said. This fifth lady just beat the rascal. Who told you, old man, that I can sing? Jinlian said. Are you still making trouble? Nanjing Shen Wanzhen, Beijing Dead Tree Bend, the name of a person, the shadow of a tree. The young man couldn't help but said, you can't kill people. Wait until I sing. I have a heart and a liver in my belly, and I can have 100 of them. Jinlian scolded, talk is short-lived. He poured the wine in front of everyone. Jinlian said, you can have another cup and cover your face so that you can sing better. Jingji said, I sang and eat slowly. I will sing the name of the fruit Shanshan sheep. Listen, we first met and became sworn friends in Taoyuan. When we get to know each other, I will lift you up like a jade yellow plum. Everyone said you were drinking at Qingguihua's house, which made me so angry that I turned Pinbo's face into powder. I am a thief, and you are like a tiger thorn. You are strong on the outside but weak on the inside. I am so angry that my eyes are filled with tears. I sent a pair of peach slaves to look for you, and they parted from me when they saw you under the jujube tree. I was so angry that I, Hadding Hong, cut a piece of green silk, but you, Hey Dong Hong, said that I was in the wrong. I scolded the thieves who were born with a red heart, which made me anxious. I looked for uncertainty on the hanging branches in the third autumn. Let me see who you are leaning on. After singing, she asked Jin Lian for the key and said, Wu Niang, please leave me now. The clerk is waiting for me in the shop for some reason. I'm afraid my father will come over at some moment. Jin Lian said, You're quite at ease. That's what you said. And it's light. When your father asks, I'll tell you that you drank wine somewhere and lost the key. So you came to my house to look for it. Jingji said, Master Wu Niang is the executioner who makes trouble. Li Pinger and Grandma Pan said again and again, Sister, let's go with him. Jin Lian said, If Grandma and your 6 mothers hadn't persuaded me, I would have punished you by teaching you to sing till night. There are 100 lies in my head. You have to fly your wings after just singing a song? I can't let you go. Jingji said, I also have a housekeeper, whose silver name is Shanshan Sheep. I also want to show my filial piety to you, old man. So, he opened his throat and sang, My friend, if you don't come, I'll be bored for a month. I can't understand the thin threads of the person who flashed back. I asked the lion-headed boy Dinger to invite you with a yellow ticket, and you spent the night at Yuan Bauer's house in Warburley. I accompany the copper chime and the furniture and worry about it. Once it is abandoned, I will seal it in my heart like a seal with pliers, and I will not be able to find a solution. I shouted at you and ignored you with your pretty face raised high. I just taught me to wait until you got deeper into the night while holding the 2 torches and filling the pot. Nu Huayanjai was so angry that he gritted his teeth and summoned Guan Yin to knock on the door of my room. He knocked lightly on his face and ignored his enemy. I scolded San Kinger for being a thief, and I poured all the warm juice from my slave's cavity into you sincerely, just treating it as hot blood. After singing Jingji, Jin Lian was just waiting to ask Chun Mai to pour wine for him. Suddenly Yun Yang came from behind and saw Ryer holding Guanjir and sitting on the stone foundation at the door of the room. She said, The child is feeling better. This dog meat is holding him in the wind again, and he still can't carry him in. Jin Lian asked, Who's talking? Shu Chun replied, And he is here. Jingji hurriedly took the key and couldn't walk out. Everyone came down to greet Yun Yang. Yun Yang asked, What is brother-in-law Chen doing here? Jin Lian said, Sister Li is preparing some dishes and asks my mother to sit down. Brother-in-law Chen is looking for clothes and asks him to come in for a drink. Sister, please sit down. It's so sweet. Jewer, you have a drink. Yun Yang said, I won't eat. Later, his eldest sister and Miss Young were going home, and I was thinking about this child again, so I came here to have a look. Sister Li, you don't care. You are teaching me. I hugged him and sat in the wind. The day before yesterday, Mrs. Liu said that he had a cold, and it was hard for people to look at him. Li Pinger said, I was having a drink with Grandma, but I didn't know that thieves took him out without knowing it. My mother sat for a while and then went back to the back. One time, Xiao Yu came and asked Grandma, Wu Niang and Liu Niang to sit behind them. Pan Jinlian and Li Pinger smoothed their faces and went to the back with Grandma Pan to have wine with Da Quizi and Miss Young. At sunset, he and Yun Yang walked out of the gate and boarded the sedan. They all stood in the door. Meng Yulu first said, Sister, his father is not here today and has gone to Wu Yicheng's house to have a drink. When we get there, we can take a look at Kiao's house across the street. Yun Yang asked the doorman, Ping Ener, who holds the key over there. Ping En said, Every time Mom wants to go over and take a look, the door is open. Brother Lakesing watches the 2 workers working there. Yun Yang said, You teach me. He hides away and waits for me to take a look. Ping Ener said, It doesn't matter if I just look at him. He is always sifting ashes and sifting dirt in the empty room on the 4th floor. Just call him out. At that moment, Yun Yang, Li Jiar, Meng Yulu, Pan Jinlian, and Li Pinger were all carried through the house on sedan chairs. After entering the Yimen, there are 3 halls. The 2nd floor is the building. Yun Yang wanted to go upstairs, but she got into trouble. As soon as she got to the middle of the stairs, she unexpectedly saw the stairs staggered. She heard Yun Yang groan and slid down 1 foot. Yoon had already clung to the railings on both sides of the stairs. Yulu panicked and said, "What's wrong, sister?" He quickly grabbed one of his arms to prevent him from falling. Yoon was shocked and stopped going up. Everyone helped him down. His face turned yellow. Yulu then asked, "Sister, why did you slip your foot when you came up and didn't you twist it?" Yoon said, "I didn't fall when I fell. I just twisted my waist. It made my heart beat in my mouth. The stairs are shaky. I just think I was going upstairs at home and my foot slipped. I should have clung to the railing. Otherwise what would have happened?" Lee Jiaor said. "You are inconvenienced. You could have known you wouldn't have gone upstairs." So all the sisters accompanied Yoon home. As soon as I got home, I felt a pain in my stomach. Yoon couldn't bear it. So when Simon King was not at home, she asked the servant to call Mrs. Liu to come and see her. The mother-in-law said, "You have been injured during menstruation, and you probably won't be able to get through it." Yoon said, "You have had a bowel movement for more than 5 months, and you got a twist when you went upstairs." The mother-in-law said, "You eat if you can't live well after taking my medicine. Just come down." Yoon said, "Come down." The mother-in-law left the doses of big black pill medicine and taught Yoon to take it with moxa wine. In the middle of the night, he was hung up in the toilet, turning on a lamp and looking round. It turned out that it was a male fetus, already fully formed. Exactly, the embryo failed to become a life, and the true spirit arrived in Yao Mingshan first. Fortunately, Simon King rested in the Yulu room that day. The next day, Yulu went to his room in the morning and asked Yoon, "How are you?" Yoon told him, "It really hurt in the middle of the night. I fell down, but it was a little boy." Yulu said, "What a pity. His father is not here." "Do you know?" Yoon said. "His father came home to have a drink and came to my room to take off his clothes. I told him to go to their room. I felt uncomfortable. That's why he came to you. I didn't tell him. I still have some faint pain in my stomach." Yulu said, "I'm afraid there is still some residual blood, so just drink some wine and eat some navel ashes and it will be fine." He then said, "Sister, you are still worried. For 2 days, you can't go out in the house. A miscarriage is more difficult to treat than a large one. I'm afraid the wind and cold will affect your body." Yoon said, "You didn't say it, but you sang it all over the place. You know, if you hug an empty nest with a lot of noise, it will make people move their lips and teeth." So Simon King didn't know. This matter is out of the question. Let's talk about the velvet shop clerk that Simon King Shin set up. And he was not a man of his duty. His surname was Han Daoguo, and his courtesy name was Xiao. He was the son of Han Guangtu, who had settled down in Han Dynasty. Now that he has fallen down, he has taken over the errand of the uncle, and is also working as a school captain in Prince Yun's mansion. He lives in Nayubi Alley, East Street, County. His human nature is unrealistic. His words are exaggerated. He is skillful in words and colors, and he is good at talking. Asking people for money is like catching a shadow in the wind. Defrauding people of money is like picking something out of a bag. Since Simon King's family started a business, they had plenty of money and silk. They made a few new flea skins and swung them on their shoulders in the street. People don't call him Han Xiao when they meet him, they just call him Han Yao. His wife was the Butcher King, to Maisie, the 6th child, with a long body, melon seed skin, purple chest, and was about 28 or 9 years old. There is a girl beside me, and she lives with her 3 biological children. His brother Honor, whose name is Ernangui, is a troublemaker who plays tricks on money and lives outside. He had an affair with this woman in the past, so Han Daoguo was away from home and stayed in the shop. He would often come and have wine with her, and would not leave until late in the evening. I don't think there are a few young men in the neighborhood who often stand in front of the door and look at people when they see women wearing makeup and powder and dressing up in various ways. If they fight with each other, they're smelly and tough, so they get angry and curse at others. Therefore, the young men in the neighborhood were somewhat dissatisfied and secretly gathered in small groups to talk behind each other's back to see who he was having an affair with behind his back. It took half a month to find out about the incident with his brother-in-law Honor. It turns out that Han Daoguo's house has 3 rooms on the front, with neighbors on both sides of the room, and the back door faces the pond. This group of people would just watch Han go in, or they would stand on the wall at night and watch, or they would secretly send little monkeys to push moths in the back pond during the day, just waiting to catch the traitor. I didn't want to make trouble that day and inquire about his brother's absence. He pretended to drink wine and eat with the woman in broad daylight. When he was drunk, he opened the door upside down and worked in the room. Unexpectedly, the little monkey came over and opened the back door. Everyone went in and opened the door. Honor grabbed the door and left, but was knocked down and held by a young man with a punch. My wife is still on the king, hurriedly dressed. When a person goes in, he first puts his pants in his hand and ties them with a rope. After a while, a crowd of people gathered round and followed him to the Nihide Street stall, causing a stir in the street. One came to ask, and another came to see. When an old man saw a man and a woman tied together, he asked the people looking round, "What is this?" Several people nearby said, "You old man don't know? This is the brother-in-law who raped the sister-in-law." The old man nodded and said, "It's sad. It turns out that the brother-in-law wanted the sister-in-law, and when he became an official, the uncle and the sister-in-law committed adultery. Both of them are guilty of hanging." There were many words next to him. Yes, I recognized his name as Taupahui. He married 3 wives in a row and all of them were taken away by him. So he interrupted and said, "You old man is well versed in the laws. It is a crime for a brother-in-law to raise a sister-in-law like this. If it is a father-in-law to raise a sister-in-law, what's the crime for the wife?" When the old man saw that he was speechless, he lowered his head and left without saying a word. It's exactly this. Everyone sweeps the snow from their own eaves, and doesn't care about the frost on other people's houses. The 2 mischief makers here have nothing to do with the woman being caught. On that day, Han Daoguo was not supposed to stay overnight in a shop. He came home early and the weather was mid-August. He was wearing a set of light gauze and soft silk clothes and a new hat, and he was walking down the street swinging. But when meeting people, whether they are sitting or standing, they talk incessantly. Just once, he met 2 people he knew well. One was Brother Zhang who owned a paper shop, and the other was Brother Bai who owned a bank store. They raised their hands in panic. Zhang Hao asked and said, "Brother Han has not been seen for a few days. I heard congratulations on opening a treasure shop in the Ximen Palace to do business. I am not polite enough to congratulate you. Don't blame me." He asked him to sit down. Han Daoguo sat on the stool, raised his face, waved a fan in his hand, and said, "Students are not talented, so I rely on your peripheral vision to work with my benefactor, the official Ximen, for 37 cents. He has a fortune of tens of millions and supervises several shops. He is very respected and different from others." Bai Ruwang said, "I heard that my brother only does the thread shop business under his sect." Han Daoguo said with a smile, "I don't know, brother. The thread shop business is just a name. That's all. The big and small businesses in his house, the capital coming in and out. These are not students who settle accounts. They obey his words, know all the good and bad, and it can't be done without me for a while. Senior officials come to the house every day to prepare meals, and they often invite them to accompany them. I can't eat without me." The 2 of us were in his small study, eating fruit and talking in our free time. We often sat there in the middle of the night before he went into the back. Yesterday, his eldest wife's birthday, we sat in a sedan chair into the house to express her favor, and his wife stayed drink until the second watch before returning. There is no need to be afraid of each other's family. Don't talk to your brother. Even if you talk to him in the room behind his back, you will often argue with the student. The student first behaves dignifiedly, is conscientious, and works with the rich to gain benefits and eliminate harm. Save from drowning and save from burning. All wealth is clear and must be acquired in a proper way. Even Fu Zixin is a little afraid of me. It's not just me who praises me, but the officials are very happy about this." Just as he was talking about it, he suddenly saw a person in the busy place. He walked forward in a panic and shouted, "Brother Han, what are you talking about here? I can't find you in this shop." He took him to a quiet place and told him, "Your family is like this. Your sister-in-law and second brother are being harassed by the neighbors." He was tied up in the shop. He will go to the county to see the official tomorrow morning. Why don't you find someone to take care of this matter earlier? Han Daoguo was shocked when he heard this. He only smacked his lips, stamped his feet, and fled away. Zhang Heiyuan asked, "Brother Han, why did you leave before you finished speaking?" Han Daoguo raised his hand and said, "The high officials have important matters, and they come to me for discussion. It's better to accompany them." He hurried away. Exactly. How can hold back the water of the Xijiang River? It is difficult to wash away the shame of the present.
Alright, this part of the story ends here.
Want to know what happened next? Let's listen to the breakdown next time.